The report was written on the basis of an operational and human rights debriefing of the two expats involved. The first debriefing was done by the desk, the latter by an external human rights lawyer with working experience in conducting a human rights debriefing and the subsequent writing of a report on the basis of this. Moreover, during both the operational and human rights debriefing, a member of the Humanitarian Affairs Department and the psychosocial team were present. The purpose of the report was to reflect what the MSF expats had seen and heard and to provide a testimony of this with as much accuracy as possible. Already, during the exploratory mission, information on what was seen and heard was carefully written down, and whether it was possible to get confirmation for these visual and oral reports. Information which was too vague or could not be confirmed has been left out of the report. Most information in the report is based on at least two different sources. However, because of the seriousness of the allegations received during the trip, systematic mass killings, and the urgency of action to stop any further abuses, also less strong, i.e. confirmed, information was put into the report when the allegation was very serious and similar to information that could be confirmed. During the whole of the process of the writing of the report, the expats involved, as well as several other people, gave their feedback on drafts of the report to avoid mistakes and to carefully select the words in which this sensitive report would be written. Regarding security, the report's allegation of the involvement of the Rwandan government in the alleged mass killings is stated in such a way that it is not said by MSF directly, but by others to MSF during its mission. It was pointed out to MSF. Moreover, MSF on 2 occasions directly met with the Rwandan commander Jackson, who supports the allegation of Rwandan involvement. This allegation is not new and stated before by Human Rights Watch, HRW, in its report Zaire, Attacked by All Sides, March 1997, Volume 9, Number 1, and by the UN Special Rapporteur for Zaire, Mr. Robert Garreton, in its reports to the UN Commission on Human Rights. Putting the findings on paper instead of only verbally communicating the confidential issues raised in the report was done to facilitate the discussion on the alleged mass killings and to provide information as detailed as possible to relevant persons who might contribute to the facilitation of a quick and effective investigation into the reported human rights violations. Of course, there is always the risk of confidential reports leaking to people who were not initially targeted, which might create security risks. However, this risk is present with both written and verbal information. However, the advantage of a written report, however confidential, in such a case, is that it gives MSF better ground for defending possible accusations made by others. If countered successfully, it even contributes to the credibility of the report and reinforces the seriousness of the alleged human rights violation or violations, which in its turn enhances the probability of these allegations to be investigated. Moreover, as you know, verbal information tends to become distorted once it changes from person to person, and in the worst case, starts leading a life of its own. Since such stories tend to be exaggerated, this may even lead to greater and less controllable security risks. Regarding counterintelligence agency. Regarding the military information, we would like to stress that MSF did not actively gather any such information. Most information which can be considered as military was told to MSF during the trip or witnessed directly by the expats. Any such information serves no other purpose than to provide the report with a context in which the alleged killings took place. Moreover, it confirms the fact that ADFL is in control over the area described and as such, under international humanitarian law, bears legal responsibility for the human rights abuses that took place, for avoiding further abuses and to bring those responsible to justice, whether the human rights abuses are perpetrated by the ADFL themselves or not. Regarding indirect witnessing or sources. The people who talked to both MSF and UNHCR during the Explo mission were too scared to state their names, fearing reprisals upon discovery. And even if we would have names of witnesses, we would not have put them in to protect their identity. This explains the phrasing of the report and the more general indication in the beginning of the report on the sources of the information. However, also the UN Special Rapporteur, Amnesty International, and Human Rights Watch use such phrasing in their reports to protect the identity of witnesses. We feel that the allegations made regarding human rights abuses, in combination with the things directly seen and/or heard by the team during the Explo mission, give strong reasons to conclude that human rights abuses took place and are still taking place. Moreover, the actual presence of MSF and UNHCR in the area, by means of this Explo mission, in our view, provides sufficient basis for the credibility of MSF and this report. For remarks on direct or first-hand witnessing, please see below. Regarding direct witnessing, in principle, it is very rare to direct witness human rights abuses such as mass killings, since they occur mostly when there is no international presence, hence the need for such presence. Indeed, direct witnessing is the strongest form of witnessing or advocacy one could wish for, but in this case was not available. Still, we all agree that we cannot remain silent on the serious allegations made by refugees and the local population who claimed to have witnessed these abuses. Moreover, the indirect accounts seem to be confirmed by locations, events, and people encountered during the Explo mission.